Okay, so Tony, you've had your first full week at Ross County. How do you feel it's gone so far?
It's only Thursday, I've not had the full week yet, but no, it's gone really well. I've really enjoyed it. I've had now 5 sessions with the players, including in that the analysis session we had of Saturday's performance and result. And I thought, as I said earlier in the week, I thought it was really constructive, really professional, really honest, and it's formed the basis. You know, we put that to bed, and it's formed the basis of what we're going to do this week in terms of preparation for Ayr United. So we've had a double session on Monday, a double session on Tuesday, players had the day off, and then we had a really good training session this morning. The boys are in the gym now, so it's good. We're beginning to develop and build up relationships and work together. So I've had a really good week, and I detect a real, vibrancy and enthusiasm about the squad.
And how do you feel the response from your playing squad overall has been to the changes you've implemented?
I think it's been excellent. I really do. Just as recent as the most recent training session, which is this morning, I've raised the intensity, I've increased the tempo, and in terms of the demands that I'm asking of the players, and they've responded to that really, really well. So I'm pleased. I think that I stopped training at the end, and I said to them, I think they're in a really good place. So it's just important now that tomorrow when we come in, we sit down as a staff, we agree in the team, and then we go through the fine detail tomorrow and the specifics about our game plan in terms of going down to Ayr. But the atmosphere's been great, the response I've had for the players is great, so hopefully we can take that into Saturday.
And obviously you've brought Callum Davison into the club this week as your assistant manager. Can you just tell the fans a little bit about your relationship with him?
Goes way back. I had Callum as a player, myself and Derek, when we were at St Johnstone. We won the championship with St Johnstone. Callum was a player then. We then left for Bristol City, but Callum was a player, so coached Callum, although he picked up an injury. But since that, I've kept in touch close with Callum. His careers went one way, mine's went another. He's had a really successful career, but it's most recently we've been in touch. During the summer there, we do the SFA coach education courses together, and we've got really close doing that. Spent a good bit of time together, and I think there was always that kind of agreement that had we get the opportunity to work together, we would. On the basis that we're working, and really pleased that he's here now. He's somebody that I've got, I share the same philosophies, same ideas about football, and I think he's somebody that will get the benefit of Ross County, him coming in to assist me and try and impart the message that I'm trying to impart to the players.
And obviously your second match in charge away to Ayr United on Saturday. What are you expecting from them as a side overall? A
tough game. We've done an analysis on them. They're a good side. They've got good players. They've got a very good management team, and Scott Brown and Stephen Whittaker. They've got a certain way of playing. They play quite direct. But it's up to us, to make sure that we can kind of negate any strengths that they've got and exploit the weaknesses that they have. And it's important our focus will be on our performance, but we need to make sure there's cognizance towards what they are as well, and as I say, we kind of exploit those weaknesses if we can. But we've had a really good training week, and it'll be much more about what we do on Saturday. And as I say, tomorrow we'll get into a wee bit more finer detail in terms of having a game plan to go down there and do all we can to maximise our performance levels to try and get the 3 points.
And obviously last week you were without Ronan Hale and Dylan Smith, who were away on international duty. I presume they'll come back into the fold this week.
Yeah, Ronan's been in since Tuesday. Ronan training was on Tuesday, and I'd said that earlier on this week in the press that there's a wee fire in his belly. He's come back for his international duty. He was disappointed he never get any minutes, so he's got a point to prove, I think, and he's got huge motivation, and hopefully we can see that. It was disappointing I never had him for my first game, because you see, particularly the game prior to that, the Inferno game, he's 2 goals. He's a huge part of the squad. He's a really important player. So looking forward to working with him this Saturday. Dylan's just came back this morning. He was away, came back in training was this morning. He was away with Scotland, and again he was disappointed he never get the minutes to show. So he's the same. He's got motivation. He wants to prove a point, and he'll come into the squad. And the two of them are real welcome additions into what is a really strong squad anyway.
And just finally, Tony, is there any other team news on top of those coming back?
No, just those 2 back. But as I say, the intensity, the tempo, the demands of training went up, and with that sometimes comes a little. Nicky Clark picked up a little knock in training, but we're hoping they'll be okay. Ross Docherty picked up a little knock, but again we'll assess them, and hopefully they'll be okay to travel for Ayr. But out with that, when we've got a healthy squad, there's a real vibrancy about them. I think they're in a good place. I stopped training today to tell them that, and hopefully we can take all the positives, everything we've worked on this week, and take that into Saturday's performance and do all we can to get 3 points.
Tony, all the best for Saturday, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Peter.